Howdy ladies and gentlemen, this is the Hypersonic 55, and as you can see, the year is almost over, and 2011 is just around the corner. But before the year happens to disappear completely, I decided to go about and give you my top 5 films of the year. I wasn't actually going to be doing this video, but since it was requested in another video by a good old friend of mine, I will go about and do it and share with you my thoughts on the top 5 films of the year which I think were the best ones. Okay, starting in reverse order, at number 5 we had the film Buried, which was a Spanish thriller film directed by Rodrigo Cortés, with Ryan Reynolds playing an American truck driver who was attacked and then found himself buried alive in a wooden coffin, and with only a few items inside the box, he used those to try and survive and find out how he got there. And with a mobile phone, he happened to contact several people from the outside world and try to piece together how he got into the situation and how he was going to try to find a way to get out. I found the film to be very creepy, interesting, and Ryan Reynolds definitely shows that the guy can act outside of romantic comedies, and it was definitely one of the more interesting films that I saw this year. At number 4 we have The Social Network, which is a drama film directed by David Fincher about the founding of the social networking site Facebook. Now, while the film is about Facebook, at the same time it isn't about Facebook. It's about the relationship between the characters and how Facebook gets created and how it happens to tamper with the lives of the people involved. The cast is fantastic, and Jesse Eisenberg as the main character, Mark Zuckerberg, is just incredible. The range of emotions that he shows is just wonderful, and his best friend, Eduardo Sovereign, played by Andrew Garfield, and the new Spider-Man geezer, is fantastic as well. And there are also great performances from Justin Timberlake, Brenda Song, Armie Hammer, Max Minghella, Rhodesia Jones, and Rooney Mara. I even did a review on it, so do take a look-see. At number 3 we had the fantastic film Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, which is a comedy film directed by Edgar Wright based on the graphic novel Scott Pilgrim by Brian Lee O'Malley. Now, this film I happen to find to be one of the most delightful things I've ever seen in the cinema in the last 5 years. The plot of the film is just ridiculous, with Michael Cera playing Scott Pilgrim, and after meeting the girl of his dreams, Ramona Flowers, played by Mary Elizabeth Winstead, in order to date her, he has to go about and defeat her several evil exes. And it is just fantastic the way in which they come and have to try and fight him. I found the film to be one of the most incredible pieces of material I've ever seen, in terms of the way in which it takes the world of video games and then fuses it with live action. This film is not only ridiculously funny, but also pays homage to so many video games, and the references in there are clear and fantastic. From Street Fighter to Tekken to Sonic, Mario and Zelda, it's all just there. The references are in an abundance. This film is really for video game fans and people that appreciate good comedy. I feel that this is definitely one of the more underrated films of the year. While it did get a lot of media coverage, I don't think that it had the audience attention that it deserved, and I don't think it made as much money as it should have done. But yeah, this is definitely a wonderful film, and I urge anyone who hasn't seen it to go about and take a look at it. At number 2 we have the final chapter in the Toy Story series with Toy Story 3, which was the 3D animated film by Pixar Animation Studios, which was one of the best films I've ever seen, ever. I can't say anything more than that. The film happened to take the concept of what Toy Story 2 presented and showed it off in one of the most stylized and emotional fashions that I've ever seen in any film. The film was more emotionally charged than most films that I've seen in live action. Toy Story 3 happened to finish up a trilogy that happened to come across even better than most other trilogies in existence. When I heard that Toy Story 3 was announced, I wasn't sure if the film was going to be able to match the hype. Match its predecessors. But it came along and was wonderful and then matched the predecessors. But the film came along, and after I saw it, I had to question why there was any doubt in my mind, because the film was wicked and it done the business. And at number 1 we had the fantastic psychological thriller Inception, the film that was written, produced and directed by Christopher Nolan, which featured a wonderful cast with Leonardo DiCaprio as the main star. Now, I'm not going to go into all the details about the cast and the story. If anything, you should have seen this film already, and if you haven't, I feel bad for you, because Inception was just one of the most fantastic films I've ever seen in existence. Now, I'm not saying that because I'm following the hype or don't know what I'm talking about. I've seen a good number of Christopher Nolan films, and while I haven't seen them all, I know of his brilliance. And Inception shows that he can do great films outside of the Batman films, which everybody believes to be his best work. Inception is a brilliantly crafted film which requires multiple viewings in order to get the story. I happen to have seen the film 4 times, although it only took me 3 times to be able to understand the film fully. But I watched it the 4th time just to go about and enjoy the overall film. The cast was fantastic. The music was incredible. The soundtrack crafted by Hans Zimmer is one of the most incredible soundtracks I've ever heard in the last 10 years. Inception was fantastic. I loved it, and yeah, go watch it when you have the time if you haven't seen it already. Anyway, thanks for listening, ladies and gentlemen. That was my top 5 films of 2010. And yeah, look forward to all my new videos in 2011. So from me, the Hypersonic 55, this is me signing out once again.